being late. I was so excited about tonight because this is the first time I'm going to do a chat like this in what is my native language, which is English. So I apologize for being late. A short introduction to myself, even though I know a lot of the people that are here know a bit about my history. I was a participant in a involuntary participant in a military mind control program after the Second World War. I don't think it's declassified yet, but a lot of what went on there is already in television shows and in the news. So I think I'm pretty safe. Because of that, I spent a year in Tibet when I was a child, when I was 10. I learned some fabulous skills and strengthened my intention to stick around, even though I think there were many times in which I basically wanted to die because this program was very tough. And life is very tough for most people, especially when we're kids. I went on to graduate from the University of Miami in political science. I started a business that today is about 54 years old, totally unrelated to this, even though I did use my skills. What are the skills that I developed in this program that I was in? I became clairvoyant, which means I can see other dimensions. Clairaudient, which means I can hear what's going on in other dimensions. Clairsentient, which means I can feel what's going on in other dimensions. The clairsentient is associated with one of the chakras we're going to talk about, the solar plexus chakra. It's the hardest of all of the psychic skills because you end up feeling what other people are feeling, and a lot of the times that's not so wonderful. My goodness, hiccups at this time, not appropriate. I'm a telepath. I could speak to animals. I could actually even speak to rocks, and I can speak to the walls of your home because everything has consciousness. Everything has consciousness, and it's the first time that happened to me. I was befuddled, did not quite know what to do, but we're not going to go into that right now. But what you do need to know is that every single thing has consciousness, and everything around you is there to kind of help you to move forward in your process of evolution. I'm also claircognizant, which means that I have an instantaneous knowing of what's going on. It's just like this automatic knowing. Plato and Aristotle understood about that psychic ability. They called it intelligence of the heart. And I don't know how old you are. I understand a few young people are going to be looking at this chat. You probably have that very developed, which means that you can walk into a room and you kind of know what's going on. You don't even have to look at anybody. It's a very nice, clean psychic ability, not real compatible with how we live. In other words, we really don't live the truth most of the time. So being psychic is very difficult. So for those of you that are young, we are all born psychic. Some of us more than others. Like some of us have more of an ability to play the piano when we're born, even though we do it later on. Same thing with psychic abilities. And the problem is that society does not support that. So basically, if you start to talk about what you see in the other dimensions when you're a kid, you're going to get put down. You're going to be told to be quiet. You're going to be told that what you said you saw there, you didn't really see. Now, you either start to doubt your mind or you basically learn to just be quiet. And that's really not good for human development. So one of the things that by listening to the chats, because I'm going to be doing this every week, is you're going to learn to honor what's already going on inside of you, what skills that you have, thoughts that you have, tendencies that you have that have not really been respected by society. And I still don't know why adults who kind of know that if your kid said there's a spirit there, there probably is, why they keep insisting on saying there isn't. I guess it's in the hope that maybe that will make it go away by denying its existence. But anyway, so if you're young, and even if you're older, and if you've not really been into all of this alternative and metaphysics, just stay open, because I think you're going to find yourself validated in many different ways. Why is it important to open yourself up to these alternative skills? Well, what's going on in the planet? Can you really trust what you're reading in the news with all this new, what do they call it? Fake news, disinformation, biased media, a lack of understanding? Basically, we're going to have to rely on ourselves more and more and more. And we have the ability to do that. We have the ability to know what's going on. Everybody is psychic. We're born that way. Everybody naturally can do telepathy. It was the original language of the planet. So developing those skills, honoring them, finding them inside of yourself will be very good. And just for you to know, in the United States, you don't use the word psychic and expect to be respected. So in the business schools, they call it creativity. And they teach it. They have courses on creativity. Do not use the word psychic because it's not respected. That's getting better. But still, if you need to use the word creativity or intuition, go ahead and use it. Basically, they're talking about psychic abilities, which means you're gaining information from the other dimensions that you didn't gain from the physical dimension. You didn't read it. Nobody told you. Nobody taught you. You just know. And one last thought on that. There's certain laws of science that are basic. All of them are intuitive hits. Like when Newton sat under the tree and an apple hit him on his head and he realized something, that's psychic hit. All of the baseline laws of science are that. And then they put little names on it and then it makes it okay. But you have that ability and you need to respect it. If not, it can make you like a little crazy. Okay, today, this chat is about your chakras and what is a chakra. You're seeing on camera a traditional photograph of chakras. It's a graphic, it's got lights, it's got shining colors. It's very, very nice. And that's what we've had until now. You might have little arrows that tell you what the names of those chakras are. Because even though some people can kind of discern them and see them, there hasn't been a systematic drawing of a psychic that's based on what somebody has really seen until now. And this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Because of my extensive and intensive and torturous training, I developed the skill of remote viewing. And I can see inside of things, outside of things, off planet, on planet, in the back, what's in back of me, what's in the back of your house, what's inside your head. I can basically see almost anything. And in that process, I was able to discover something that I'm going to show you now so that you can, for the first time, really understand what a chakra is. A chakra, and I'm looking for the sketch, and in this little program, which I'm sure that if I was younger, I could handle better, it's going to take me a second longer to get to the sketch. Okay. What you're seeing now on the screen is what you are, revealed by my remote viewing. And as I did my research, I understood that this information has been out there. It just hasn't, we haven't had anybody up till now that can actually see it. If you're young, you might be able to see this and go, oh my God, I can see this. So I'm going to go quickly over the bodies because today is about chakras. The body on the left is your physical body. It basically is, when you die, it returns to the earth. It has nothing. It has no skills. It has no intelligence. It has no nerve. It has nothing unless it's associated with the second body, which is the etheric body, which is the body of vitality, which is what gives sensations and movement and vitality. It's 1 inch bigger than the physical body. They all fit one inside the other. The next body is your astral body, which is your spirit. It's supposed to be colored gold. It's usually red or black and does all sorts of things. It's the part of you that when you die, it separates from the physical body and the etheric, and it supposedly returns to God or wherever you think that it goes. But you have that spirit before you die. It does astral travel at night. And during the day, it can do all sorts of things. We'll talk about that in another chat. And the next body is basically, we're showing the astral body. And those colored circles are your chakras. But before I tell you what that is, behind those colored circles, there's a double terminated funnel that's gold colored. That is your causal body. They used to call them vehicles. It's your vehicles that your consciousness uses on the different dimensions. Each of these bodies in a different. You don't need to remember all of this. We're going to go back on it in other chats more intensively. Extending from the causal body, you see those green strings. There are 72,000 of them. They extend 360 degrees around the causal body. And they give you a type of protection. It's like a canopy, like an umbrella that protects you. At 7 different levels of the causal body, the double terminated funnel, some of those strings that we call mind strings come back and tie the causal body. When you're born, a nectar comes into the causal body. It's nice and fat, thick. And when you are several days old, some of those 72,000 strings swing around and tie the causal body up at 7 different places. Those 7 different places are called chakras. And people go, oh, my chakras. And I go, oh, my chakras, they're ties. They tie up the causal body, which is the most important part of you, where all your intentions, even from previous lifetimes, come from. They're not so much fun. They're really interesting. We're going to go into those interests now. Okay? We're going to start. Let me make my little program a little bit more manageable in size. Okay, but before we get into that, I want to show you something. And I would like for all of you that are there, and I have no idea how many of you are there and how many of you are my mantristas from my chats in Spanish. I would like for you to look at this dress. And I would like for you, in your head, you don't need to tell me, I want for you in your head to determine what color you're seeing. Are you seeing white and gold, or are you seeing blue and black? Yes? My dog would like to announce something. Okay, come on, just stay here with us. And then I'll tell you later at the end of the chat, because I'm going to show it to you again. And it's going to be interesting because some of you may see it a different color. And then I'll tell you why you saw the exact same photograph, a different color. Okay, let's go back to the chakras, because that's what this class is about. There you have your 7 chakras. Let's start with the bottom one. So chakras are a tying up. Okay, what is your mind? The double terminated funnel is the deepest part of your mind, your deepest subconscious that you bring in from incarnation to other incarnations. My dog is too excited. And extending the 72,000 mind streams is a more superficial part of your mind. Okay, part of the superficial part of your mind ties up the more profound type of part of your mind and creates issues because there's no flow of energy in between the chakras. Your evolution is when you untie those ties. Please excuse my dog. He's very enthusiastic because apparently there's another dog close by. And I don't have a babysitter for him. So we're going to have to listen to him for a moment. So let's start with the chakras. So chakras are not really fun things. They're a tying up of your mind. And as you evolve and those chakras get released, those ties get released, you have more mind expansion and you have more flow of your mind within you. Why are the ties a problem? I'm not quite sure what to do about the dog. You have, let's say, the example I use is the easiest. You have a girlfriend, okay? But she was unfaithful to you. That's going to affect your second chakra, the orange one, right above the red one, because that's the chakra associated with sexuality. It's also going to affect the green chakra because that's your heart chakra. So, all that's fine. But because they're separated, if you do therapy or if you cry or if you make up with your girlfriend and you forgive her from the second chakra for having been unfaithful, you still have the hurt in your heart chakra. You have to go two different places with two different attitudes in order to be able to clear that. Most people are not aware of that. That's why the ties make life so difficult, because you can love and hate somebody at the same time. You can love your job, but there's a part of you that hates it because you're bored. Well, how does that happen? Because your mind is sectioned off. Okay, let's start at the bottom. The red chakra is your root chakra. It's in between your anus and your sexual organs. It's at the base of your body. It's called the root chakra. It's the chakra for rooting. It controls your legs, your feet, your toes. It controls your anus. It has to do with a lot with prosperity. You have to be grounded. It has to do with the physical dimension. Excuse me. While I do, I don't know what to my dog. Lucky? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No more. This is going to be more like a reality show than a class. So, the red chakra, the root chakra, has to do with prosperity, with paying your bills, feeling secure. Nobody's going to come in and attack you. You're secure in your country. It has to do a lot with security, physical and security of your physical body. It's very associated with your physical body. You go up to 2 inches below your belly button, and that's the gold chakra. It's really supposed to be orange. Perhaps that's orange and I'm not seeing it correctly. It's orange. That is the sacral sexual chakra. I'm trying to smile with my dog. That chakra is very important. It's associated with sacredness. It channels the energy of sexuality, manifestation, creativity. It is also the home of what is called Kundalini. You've heard of Kundalini yoga. Nobody really knows what Kundalini is. It's like an energy that God left us. And God decided not to put it in the root chakra because the root chakra is too close to something we call the portal to hell. Excuse me, not tolerable. This, of course, would be horrifying to me, but the state of the world is such a wreck. Everything is such a mess. We don't know if the world is ending tomorrow. So there's a barking dog and I had to get up. We'll deal with it. Okay, so the second chakra, 2 inches below your belly button, is about sexuality, manifestation, creativity. It's the home of Kundalini, which is an energy that God left us. And I repeat, God did not leave it in the first chakra, which you would think, because the first chakra is too close to an opening to hell. You know how they say hell is underneath? It's underneath the root chakra. We may not get into that today. That chakra is associated with the element of water. So if you go to the beach, if you live near the water, you're going to tend to be more sexual. You're going to tend to be more creative. That's why when you have a vacation, you go to the beach, you have more sex. If you go to a big city and you're looking at the sights and the monuments, you'll probably end up having less sex because you don't have the support of the element for sexuality, which is water. One of the issues with cell phones and Wi-Fi and 5G is that they heat up water, and they heat up the water in your second chakra and they evaporate it, and you don't have enough water. So I think most people are aware that sexuality has diminished dramatically, and I have a saying for it in Spanish called el gran apagón, the big turnoff. People are like, I'm a psychic. People used to bore me to tears with their questions about girlfriends and boyfriends. Nobody asks those questions anymore. They're just not interested. And it's because there's a change. We're not giving our second chakra what it needs, which is the element of water. First chakra needs earth, mountains, trees, parks, ground. That's the element it needs, the earth element. Second chakra, water element. Then you go 6 inches above the second chakra, which means 4 inches above the belly button. And you've got the yellow chakra, which is the solar plexus chakra. It's called the garbage can of emotions because it is. It's all about emotions. It's also the center of your personal power, which is a problem because if you're very emotional or you don't take care of your emotional issues, you end up being less powerful. That chakra channels the energy of your liver, which has to do with rage, your pancreas, which has to do with feeling you're never going to be happy, your spleen, which has to do with injustice and unfairness, and all your digestive, stomach, colon, etc. So if you have a lot of repressed emotions, which you didn't process them, you're going to have problems in those organs, and you're going to have less personal power. That chakra is associated with fire. So in Chinese medicine and in Ayurvedic medicine and shamanism, if you don't digest food well, generally it's because you have too much fire there. And we have too much fire on the planet. Global warming, and the cell phone radiating, and your little electronics games radiating. There's a lot of digestive issues, a lot of issues associated with that chakra. If you go up to the center of your chest, you have the green chakra, which is the heart chakra. It's the center of the chakra system. There's 3 above, there's 3 below. It is all about love, human connection, the connection between things, not just love, but the connection between things. It's the center of that psychic ability I told you about, being claircognizant, which is instantaneously understanding what's going on. Nobody has to explain the dynamics, you just know. It's understanding the relationship between things. The heart chakra has a secret portal in the back, which is the most important part of all of our system. We don't know a lot about it. I still don't know a lot about it. What I do know is that when you do the mantras that I'm going to teach you and you start to yawn, you're basically opening up the back of your heart chakra, and that is very, very good for you. What does it mean beyond that? I don't really know. I haven't had time to explore that. The heart chakra controls the inside. It controls your lungs, your heart, if you have high blood pressure, circulation issues, and it controls the inside of your arms and the inside of your hands, not the outside. That's interesting. Remember that point. You go further up and you get to the throat. This is the throat chakra. It has to do with communications. This is the first chakra that actually has an opening to off-planet. And that makes it very important, makes it a chakra you really need to protect, because if you open to off-planet energies, if You open a door, which in my world is called a portal, to off planet before you're ready to deal with it. You end up with schizophrenia, you end up in a psych ward, or you end up wanting to kill yourself because you're opening up to something you cannot handle, and you're opening up at a level, at a vibrational level that brings in the worst that off planet has to offer us on planet Earth. That chakra is so important. It handles the thyroid, your teeth, your gums, your mouth, your ears, your nose. It has several portals: your mouth, the two nostrils, two ears, two eyes. Those are portals. Those are openings into your multidimensional assemblage of bodies. So you get information in auditory, smell, taste. So it's very important that you protect that chakra and those portals, because all that we're talking about today has to do with you using your mind to create reality. Those two sections of your mind, the center axis and the back, double terminated funnel, plus the 72,000 mind streams, are your tools for creation. It's how you create reality. And if you're really good at creating reality, you end up becoming magical. And in this time on planet Earth, we're entering the age of Aquarius, and magic is supposed to become the order of the day. When you talk about or hear about the superheroes, that's what they're talking about. Magic. Why are the kids obsessed with magic? It's because they're supposed to be. They're born knowing that they have these powers. Now, they use them in video games as a substitute, but they also use them at night in what you call the sleep state, which is really being very active with one of these bodies that I had on. I'll put back up on one of these bodies. They're very active at night. Again, we call it the sleep state, lucid dreaming. Those bodies have an active life in the dimensions that they're on, which is not the physical dimension. The most boring part of us is the physical body. Very limited in its abilities and its intelligence and what it can do. The other bodies are much more exciting, and they're all part of you. They're all inside of you, hopefully, because that gold body, your spirit, your astral body, can astral travel even when you're sitting at school. A story. I was doing some research with somebody who worked with cancer patients. It was super exciting when we were finding the connection between why they had cancer and the story of their life. And all of them had an issue of being very angry at something that happened in their life, something huge, and they couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't do anything. It was just like, you have to accept it. And they did accept it, supposedly, but they didn't. They put that inside their chakras. They held it secretly inside their chakras without discussing it. You have to accept it. And years later, it ended up being cancer. So we're working and we're doing this exciting research, and all of a sudden, it was time for the person I was working with to leave, or it was time for me to leave. I don't remember which. It's not important. So I left and I went home. And all of a sudden, the gold body, the spirit, the astral body, spirit, astral body, same thing, of the person I was working with was in my home. And I was like, whoa, this was many years ago when I wasn't used to that. What are you doing here? And she didn't answer, but I called her on the phone. I called her physical body on the phone. I said, why are you at my house? And she said, and she knew all about metaphysics, whatever. She said, well, no, I don't know. She said, but then she said, you know what? I was really sorry I had to go. I really, really, really liked the research we were doing. The astral body, your spirit, is also called in Hinduism the desire body. She desired to continue to work with me, but we couldn't because I had to leave, or she had to leave. And that's a big issue, because we have a lot of desires that we can't go for. a lot of sexual desires we can't go for. And that body is really complicated when it comes to sex because it is the desire body. So there's a lot of issues which we're not going to go into right now. You might not even be interested in the issues with how diminished people's sex drives are because of how debilitated the sexual chakra is. So you've got your throat chakra, the first chakra that opens to off planet. And then you move up and you go to your third eye chakra called the Anja. And it has to do with inner vision, has to do with the psychic ability of clairvoyance, of being able to see everything. And it has to do with judgment and wisdom. And there's a problem because we take our cell phones and we hold it here, which is at the level where that third eye chakra is, and we radiate it. And then we wonder why people are doing so many things today that just don't make any sense. That chakra also holds a lot of memories, particularly from past lives. I am not going to worry about whether those of you who are listening believe in past lives or not. I don't have time to slow down for people that really should have done more investigating as to all those unanswered questions that we have that can only be answered if you believe in previous existences. And if you go out throughout history, all the major civilizations believed in past lives and relied heavily on that information because they understood it was a lot of the core of who the person was in this incarnation. So I'm not going to hold back because we are in end times. When on earth are we going to put the truth out there if we hold back? So, and if you don't believe in past lives, it's okay. Just put that to the side. Maybe you'll never have to if you listen to my chats. Maybe you'll be okay with that. So the third eye is very important and is increasingly important as we have the issue of fake information, disinformation, and simply a lack of knowledge because the world has changed. The Mayans said 5,000 years ago that the world as we knew it was going to cease to exist, and it did. So what's this new world all about? Well, I could tell you something the authorities don't know. And the authorities and big institutions that have been around for hundreds of years or centuries are not going to want us to buy into the new model, the new paradigm, because the old one collapsed. The Mayans were right, because that leaves them out in the cold. So basically, you have to find your way through everything that's going on now. And for that, you need to be very operational inside. You need to understand your whole chakra system. You need to understand that basically you have the ability to know everything because you have a third eye. And all human beings have access to that. It could be blocked. Maybe you don't like things in your life and you really don't want to look at them, and then you decide not to look at them, and then you decide without being aware of it, you make a decision to shut down your third eye. Then you don't have access to that extra information. Don't do that, because everybody who earns a ton of money is very intuitive, creative, if you want to call it, naturally psychic. And all great art is produced with that extra psychic ability. So don't shut down your third eye. If it's very painful to see what's going on in your life, in your family, whatever, do a mantra of acceptance or have an intention to help change that. But don't shut down to seeing a reality that you have in your life. The major shutdown of when a person does not want to have to deal with what's going on has two names to it. One is dementia, the other one's Alzheimer's. So if you want to live in a little world where half of the reality you shut out, you're going to be headed towards that. So don't do that. Then you go to the end of the chakra system, which is the crown chakra. The crown chakra is the color white. They call it the 1,000-petaled lotus. You know what a lotus looks like. And it's our connection to God. It's actually an opening. That's where the energy streams in to the center channel, the causal body, that double terminated funnel, and then goes out into the 72,000 mind streams. We have on the planet today an issue with that chakra. It will take me a second or more than a second to get to the graphic to show you what has happened to the entire planet that has closed down the connection to God, which is this graphic, to where you see the three figures and then you see that black cloud is called a miasm. And that has been thrown onto planet Earth. It's hitting us here, and it's not allowing this opening from the crown chakra to access energies that are already entering the planet that are called the energies of the golden age. But if you exercise, and why don't we go ahead and do that now? If you, with a visualization, and please don't say, oh, I don't know how to do that. You do it with your intention. Just have the intention to visualize that the funnel at the top of your causal body, that double terminated funnel that's behind the chakras, that you're just extending it up. You penetrate that black yuck miasm that's there, and you just breathe in that nectar that is above. This is not a class on religion. I'm a remote viewer. I'm not a Catholic. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Buddhist. But I can see, and that energy is there waiting for you. You want to call that God, whatever you want to call that, doesn't matter. I can tell you this, it's a very liberating energy. So go ahead and breathe and just visualize. You don't have to do anything but intend and visualize. Just visualize that funnel extending, going through the black miasm, and breathe in and have it flow into your causal body, which means it's going to be going into the deepest level of your mind, and then just keep breathing and allow that energy to go into the 72,000 mind streams. And for those of you that want to, you can share whether you can feel the difference in terms of relaxing. Okay? The third chakra is the color yellow. Okay, let's keep the comments to English, please, because the class is in English. Please don't post in Spanish, because then we're going to have people who don't speak Spanish not feel so at home, okay? I appreciate it. So go ahead and breathe and channel in that gold energy that's at the top. I'll just tell you a couple more stories about the chakras, okay? I had a class once on the heart chakra, and I checked everybody's heart chakra, and one of the girls, the chakras kind of look like petals. And I saw that in her heart chakra, she was missing a petal. And I think there's only 4 there, and it was like huge. But oh my God, you're missing a petal. You had a loss. In other words, broken heart. You lost somebody. What happened that would have been, I'd never seen that. And she said, my brother was kidnapped for a couple of years. And we were all brokenhearted. I said, wow, that would certainly break your heart. She said, but he came back. We were able to get him back. We paid the ransom. We got him back. She said, so everything's fine. And I said to her, no, actually, it's not fine, because you're missing an entire quarter of your heart chakra. The heart chakra determines your health of your lungs, your heart, blood pressure, all the rest of that. So you need to take care of this. She had already taken care of what it was that broke her, but she needed to go back and repair the damage to the chakra. And I was astounded, because wouldn't we have thought that that would have been taken care of automatically? It doesn't. So I gave her the mantra, even though our heart was broken. And I said our heart was broken because her entire family's heart was broken. I love and accept myself. I never heard from her again. But I have to assume that if she did it often enough, she would have taken care of that chakra. So we were talking about magic. The original definition of magic is not a circus act or people that are charlatans or people that want to take your money and play little games. The original definition of magic is power. And the word power means to be able to do, to be able to act. And magic is power in the other dimensions. What is magic? You don't change anything on the physical dimension physically. Let's say this girl did the mantra often enough and she did clear that chakra. She didn't have heart surgery. She did something in the other dimensions, which is a mantra which liberates those mind streams and repaired that. Now, we have hundreds of examples at this point from all the mantristas of using a mantra to take care of blood pressure, fibromyalgia, all sorts of issues. But they didn't do anything on the physical dimension. So according to regular traditionalists today in the medical field, that would be kind of like a miracle or a magic. So that's what magic is. Actually working where the injury started to take care of it. Magic is not doing surgery on the physical body. That's simply doing surgery on the physical body. But that is the case basically for everything, because all of reality is created in the other dimensions. And then the manifestation is in the physical body or in the physical dimension. So knowing about what you are in the other dimensions is vital to be able to benefit from the age of Aquarius, from this age in which magic will be the order of the day, and at this time when we need to be magical, because other than that, life is just going to deteriorate terribly. Let me see what okay. The third chakra is yellow. The second chakra is orange. Okay? The third one is yellow. Thank you for asking. Oh, you know what? There's something at the bottom of the screen that I had actually taken off. I'm wondering why it's still there. It's in Spanish. Okay? And if you could please communicate with me in English, I'd really appreciate it. Okay? Si pueden, no pongan nada que no sea en inglés. This is a chat in English. We want to share with more people. Okay? So I don't know if anybody the right side of your stomach, Brianna, is your liver, and that is the organ that handles the heat. Okay? And the right side of your hip and legs have to do with power. So I suspect, Brianna, you're having a problem in which you're feeling very frustrated. Is that true? Okay. I had announced that this chat was going to be in English. So every Wednesday, we're going to be doing this in English, and we'll deal with a different subject next week. But a lot of my followers that I've been working with every night for months have come expecting Spanish, and I apologize that we're making this change, but I need to branch out. No, that's okay. It's okay if you've written in Spanish. It's not a problem. We haven't really advertised this. So let me go back. First, let's go ahead and let's teach you a mantra. And the scrolling at the bottom, I had removed that. And I don't understand why it's still on there. But let's do a mantra, which is the most important mantra today, because it's what everybody's feeling. Okay, what is a mantra? It's on the screen now. Okay, let me start taking some of these images off so that a mantra is a device that liberates the mind. What part of the mind does it liberate? Those 72,000 mind streams. Those mind streams become knotted. They actually are in the Lord's Prayer. The strings and the knots are in the original Lord's Prayer in Aramaic. So the mantra is repeated in silence. You repeat it in your head and you blow air out through your mouth. So go ahead and let's do this 20 times, okay? I'm going to say it 3 times out loud, but it's not supposed to be out loud. And let me close this door, and there will be a murder committed tonight. I'm going to say it 3 times out loud, but it's always in silence, okay? Okay? Even though I'm frustrated, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm frustrated, I am frustrated with my dog. I love and accept myself. Even though I'm frustrated, I love and accept myself. But in silence, blow out through the mouth. You can also do a mudra, which is like this. You put the 2 center fingers with your thumbs, and you put it on top of your legs, and you'll notice that you'll relax more. Thank you, Emmy Chen. I'm not quite sure how to say your name. Mantras do change your life. They're supposed to. They liberate the mind, and your mind is your tool for creation. Keep doing the mantra, and if you can do the mudra together with it, you'll get even more of the benefit. In the chat that I do in Spanish, keep going. I see our group is symbolized by a large tree with a huge trunk. I'm seeing that again with this group, but inside the tree, there's a huge eye. In the solar plexus, remember the chakra that's yellow, the garbage can of emotions? Most people are depressed today. So as we do this mantra, I think we will get that energy moving up and out. No, I don't think it matters what the language you do it in. Even though I'm frustrated, I love and accept myself. We're not going there right now, Mary. We're going to try not to throw everything new at the people that are new, okay? You can also take your hand and tap your solar plexus. That's the one that's 4 inches above your belly button. I'm a Cancer in astrology, and we have a lot of digestive issues, a lot of solar plexus issues. So tapping there made me breathe deeper. Sheena, we're not doing that yet in this chat today. I haven't even talked to them about health. We don't want to scare them away, okay? Those of you who know how to do it, go right ahead and do it. So I'm going to say a couple more comments, and you can keep doing the mantra if you want all the time I'm talking. Say a couple more comments or stories about the chakras, and then we're going to close the class. Anytime you have a problem, it doesn't really matter what the problem is. It initiates in one of the chakras or in 2 of the chakras, such as if you have a mate that was unfaithful, it would be broken heart, heart chakra, and the sacral chakra. So it's good to know which chakra it's associated with. First, you can tap that chakra, breathe into it, send light to it, do a mantra for that chakra. And it will also tell you what kind of issues you may have in health later on in life. I wasn't aware. My heart was broken many, many times. Being in this program that I was in, this mind expansion program, would break anybody's heart in 50 pieces. I wasn't aware of how broken my heart was. But I should have paid more attention. Because if your heart's broken, you're going to end up with physical heart issues. So you can at least know that you're headed there, and then go ahead and deal with preventing yourself from ending up with a heart condition by dealing with the issue that broke your heart by doing a mantra, which is the most efficient way of taking care of these issues. I'm teaching mantras because it's the quickest way. It doesn't cost a penny. And as you start to integrate them into your life, you're going to go, wow, what a difference. I don't know what it was that happened to me today. Something happened today. I don't remember which of the whatever events. And it was bothering me. And I was kind of busy. And I said, you know what? I'll deal with it later. I'll think about it later, like Scarlet in Gone with the Wind. I'll think about it later. And then within a few minutes, I said, no. If later on, I will probably think it wasn't that big a deal, whereas it is a big deal. What I'm doing is I'm pushing it down into my subconscious. So I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to do I literally did the Buddhist rosaries, which are 109. I literally did 3 rosaries of mantras to address this thing that was distressing, that was going to really bother me or go deep into my subconscious and end up giving me digestive issues. So I went ahead and stopped. I said, no, stop. Just do it. Deal with it. So by the time I finished the 3 rosaries of mantras, I'm okay with it. It's still an issue. I'll have to deal with it at some point, but I don't have the compulsive thoughts that come with something when something bothers you, which of course is 20 times a day, though usually we have themes. So you can do mantras on basically anything, but as you learn them, you'll end up doing them more and more, and you'll end up with less compulsive thoughts. And one of the very nice things that people say in the groups where we do the mantras is they can sleep. They can sleep. And that's very important today, because not sleeping well is the path to mental illness. So I'm going to go ahead and show the dress again, and let's see if any of you see a different color. Because a lot of times you can see it kind of dark in the beginning, and then you do some mantras or you listen to me and you learn things and you get more optimistic about gaining control over your life, and then all of a sudden it's a different color. So for those of you that's never played this game before, and what is this all about? It's about the creation of reality and about your vibe. If your vibe is low because you had a problem, you're miserable, you're unhappy, you got compulsive thoughts, whatever, you may see this dress blue and brown. But if your vibe lifts, and when you do mantras it lifts, you'll end up seeing it how it was constructed, the dress originally, which is white and gold. So what are you seeing now? And if you find that you're seeing it a different color, or you're seeing it much lighter and much more gold, then you know what? Learning about your chakras and the mantras really worked. And you need to do it more often. And we will be here on Wednesdays, and we'll take it from here. So for now, you have some information on your chakras. This chat will remain up. I don't know, did it make it up on YouTube today? It should have. This company that is doing this particular app where we do this is running into some issues. No, it's up on YouTube. It's up on YouTube. So you're going to be able to go back and see it and recommend it to friends. And then we'll see you again next week, Wednesday at 9, and we'll go into another aspect of creating your reality. What is it that you need to know for you to get a grip on your life, for you not to be a victim of the circumstances today, which are awful. End times, the ending of the world as we know it. Just picking up a newspaper is enough to put anybody in cardiac arrest, but we're getting used to it. It's so bad, we're getting used to it. That's not the way it's supposed to be. We do create our reality, but today it's so bad that we're reacting to creations of other people, and maybe even our own, rather than remembering that we can change that. And we can. And even though magic has never been respected, it's because they never understood the true definition, which means power. And most people don't know that in the age of Aquarius, magic is going to be the order of the day. So we will be teaching you magic, superpowers, but not so that you can fight like those little games, but so that you can change the things in your life that you're not happy with. I'm Frances Fox, and I'm glad that you were with us today. And hopefully you will recommend this class, and we can get more people who will understand that when God made us, He made us with these superpowers that we have basically not understood and sometimes even trashed. So it was good being with you today.